comedian, writer and all-round legend. He's also an actor. Alan Davies is coming back to Australia to tour for the first time in a decade. Now, you probably know him best as a panellist on the long-running series QI, who often steals the show. Here's a reminder.
I was once lucky enough to meet Julie Andrews. It's the only time in my entire life I've been completely speechless.
Because she wouldn't shut up?
She just... asking me what my favourite things were. It's very annoying.
Do you like them tied up with string? Yeah. I bet you do, girl. I bet you do. What's a deer? What's a female deer? Come on, leave me alone.
There you have it. I was lucky enough to speak to him earlier from London. Alan, as we just saw, you were always funny, but I just read in an interview with you, you were quoted as saying, when you have a break from stand-up, you always fear that you'll never think of anything funny again. Have you had to go through that thought process for your new show?
It's so true that, you know, really, once you've got, when you're putting together a new show, and you think, oh, never those banker routines in the last show that just kind of crystallise into something that never failed. Where will I find them again? How can you know, it's like panning for gold. I think songwriters must think, I'll never write another song. But if you do, I just sort of jot things down, things I've heard, things I've thought of, start doing a few gigs, and stuff starts to come up. And I have got some funny things to say when I come.
We do not doubt that. Now, you haven't toured Australia for 10 years and, you know, in your career, you've achieved a lot and sometimes you've had those breaks, as I said, from doing stand-up, and you've talked about the nerves you face when you do that first show. What soothes your nerves? Is it that first big laugh?
Yeah, getting onto the stage is the thing. And then it just comes back like a muscle memory. It's the most fun for me. This gap is a gap in touring rather than a gap in stand-up. I've been gigging all the time, apart from during COVID, which was awful. That was for our end of profession, it was catastrophic, you know, with all the live venues shut down. So when you got back into theatres again, I remember going to see a musical. I took the kids to see a musical, Anything Goes, in London. And the audience was so ecstatic to be back in the theatre again. There were standing ovations at the end of virtually every song. So we all felt like that as performers. So this is the first tour since COVID, and all the theatres are packed again. And I love being face-to-face with the audience. You know, it's the best thing. So I have been gigging, just not touring. I think, apart from COVID, having a third child really impacted on my tour time.
I bet it did. Keeps you pretty busy, 3 children. It's not easy. I've also heard you say that Aussies laugh a lot and you love coming over here to tour. But how do they compare to, say, a British audience?
A little bit louder, I think, in a good way. I've had some terrific shows on my previous tours. I'm so looking forward to coming back. I'm 60 years old in 2026, and the show's called Think Ahead because that's what you have to do at this moment. You know, in the past, when I started in stand-up, I didn't look further than 3 months ahead because that was how far ahead the comedy clubs would book you. And then my diary would literally be empty. And now you have to think ahead every few weeks, months, as something is always something, particularly with teenage kids and school and everything else. So I'm thinking ahead all the time. And now that's kind of fed its way into my act. It's a chance for me to let the middle-aged man scream.
I heard you in a chat about QI say something that I was shocked at, because I see you as not just funny, you're a font of knowledge. But you say all those amazing facts that you talk about on QI, none of them stick in your head. Is that true?
I can't remember anything that happens. And when the show's edited, we record early in the year usually. We've just recently recorded a batch, and they go out about 6 months later, and I don't remember a thing. I mean, literally not a thing. I don't remember anything that's been said. Sometimes I watch it and then someone says something and I'm sitting on my sofa at home and I think what I would say, and then the person on screen does say it. So that's weird. So my brain is quite limited, which is what has made it easy for them to catch me out over the years.
Oh, love it. Now we have to let you go because it's nighttime in London. So you're touring here over 2 months. It's an extensive tour at the end of the year. You're going everywhere from Perth to Adelaide, Melbourne, Hobart, Sydney, Canberra and many other Australian venues. But you love Australia so much. You are staying for Christmas. What are you most looking forward to?
It's so true. Well, the kids are coming out. Katie's bringing the kids out. I'm working hard for two. Doing all the shows. Book signings after the shows because my book's out as well, which I've called White Male Stand Up, which is not a rallying call and it's not about cancel culture. It's just what I am, and I'm looking forward to doing all the work and then putting it down and having a great Christmas in New South Wales.
Alan Davies, we can't wait to watch your show. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.